What's up YouTube? Daniel Carter at Afro Herpkeeper here. Today we're talking about everybody's favorite razorback musk turtles and the importance of proper veterinary care. So to start off, I'd like to introduce everybody to the Razorback's new digs. This is the same enclosure they've always been in, but I've spruced it up. They have a much deeper water level now, a lot more vegetation, a lot more hiding places, and a much nicer, more emphasized basking area. Their tank was starting to get pretty nasty, filled with algae and cyanobacteria, so I took everything out, scrubbed it down, rinsed the sand and the rocks, and now everything's back in there, in addition to a really nice mixture of plastic plants and live hydrilla. As you can see, the addition of these plants is really beneficial for the turtles. It provides a whole new plethora of hiding places, and when the water is a lot deeper like this, it allows the turtles to climb up and get a breath of air. And then for a little bit of added flair, I've got this really nice big freshwater mussel shell. When recreating their setup, I was really trying to go for a marshy feel, a really natural look and feel for the turtles. Because mud and musk turtles are the kind of turtles you're going to be finding in a marsh or in large bodies of standing water. Now, as nice as this new setup is, that is not the focus of today's video. The focus of the video is this little guy right here, and this is one of my baby razorback musk turtles. Now, as you can see, he's doing really well right now, but that wasn't actually the case 2 to 3 weeks ago. Around that time, I noticed he was basking a lot more than usual, and one day when I came in, he had this weird abscess on the side of his cheek. He was coming up on land, trying to dry out and warm himself up, and eventually his eyes crusted over, and he started floating when he was in the water. Thankfully, by that time, I'd already made a vet reservation, and I drove this little guy to North Austin Animal Hospital, where he was diagnosed with pneumonia and a vitamin A deficiency. Now, thankfully, both of these are pretty easily treatable. A vitamin A deficiency is caused by a deficiency in vitamin A, and so to remedy that, this little guy is getting little pieces of chicken liver and fresh earthworms. Now, the pneumonia was a little bit trickier, but thankfully, with a little veterinary intervention, we caught it in time, and this little guy is well on the path to recovery. I don't know if it's in frame, but up there, I had him in a quarantine setup for a while. I put him in there as soon as he started exhibiting these symptoms, just to get him away from the other turtle, make sure there was nothing being spread between the turtles. And so he stayed in there for a while. He had a heat lamp and some extra UVB light, and he had very easy access to his basking platform. It was easy for him to get warm and dry. So now we've got this little guy with pneumonia. What do? Well, what the vet prescribed is called amikacin. It's an antibiotic which is administered in the form of a nebulizer. And so, seeing as we've got all this set up, I think you can guess what we're about to do. This little guy, though I've reintroduced him to his tank mate because I've deemed him healthy enough, is not quite done with his meds. So we're going to take this little guy, we're going to put him in this container and go through the whole process step by step. So what I've got laid out in front of me is everything you need to nebulize a turtle. When you're nebulizing a human, you've got a little mask and you're able to just strap that to their face, but I don't think they really make masks small enough for this kind of turtle. So what we did is we made just a little nebulizing chamber for him right here. You can use any sort of plastic or glass container so long as there's a little bit of ventilation. This lid doesn't quite fit this container perfectly, so there's a little bit of ventilation in the sides. And additionally, we've got these 2 holes on top, and these are going to come in very handy. So on the left side of the table here is our nebulizer. This is a really old piece of equipment, maybe 16 or 17, but it still works, and that's the important thing. So in here, we've got quite a number of cables. This guy we are going to attach right here, like so. And this guy, at the bottom, we are going to hook up to this little container. This goes in the bottom. I'm going to make sure that is screwed on all the way. I'm going to put this guy in there, make sure it clicks. And now we administer our medicine. Now we're supposed to nebulize this guy for about 10 minutes, which I have found to equal about 6 milliliters of medicine. So that's what we're going to put in here now. Now once we have that in our container, we are going to screw the lid on and use this tube to connect the container directly to the nebulizer. So as you can see, our little turtle is not too excited about this. This is a good thing. It's good that he's so active because that means that he's feeling much better. The first few times I did this, he was just sitting still for the whole treatment, didn't want to get out, didn't show any desire to leave, and obviously in an animal that's normally very active, that's not the best sign. So essentially what we do now, ignoring this giant jumble of cables, is we flip the switch and we're going to sit here and wait for about 10 minutes while this guy gets his medicine. So it's been about 10 minutes, and you may not be able to hear it on the audio recording, but this thing is starting to sputter, which means that there's not very much liquid left in the bottom there. So we're going to flip this switch, and now our turtle's treatment is done for the next 12 hours. I've been administering this medicine twice daily for 10 minutes at a time, and after just a week of treatment, the turtle is doing much, much better. Bright eyes, very active, always trying to bite me. So I think this guy's had enough for the time being. We're going to place him right back in his cage where he belongs. He's going to take a moment to adjust, and then he's going to go run off and find somewhere to hide, maybe look for some food. And now you know how to nebulize a turtle. This method will work for any animal that will fit in a container like this. The whole point of this video really, A, is to show off this new turtle setup, but B, is to emphasize the importance of proper veterinary care. You always want to bring in your animals for checkups, and if they show any signs of illness, reptiles and animals in general are really good at hiding their illnesses, so by the time you notice it, it could be very advanced. The moment you notice symptoms, you really want to call your vet, talk to an expert, get the animal the attention and care that it needs. Thankfully, there's a happy ending for this guy. We caught his pneumonia in time. The treatment worked very well as far as I'm concerned. And as you can see, he's doing much, much better. After going through such a harrowing nebulizer treatment, I think that turtle deserves a treat. So let's end this video on a happy note and feed these guys. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful in any way, feel free to leave a like. If you have any questions about my animals or yours, feel free to leave a comment. I try to get back to as many as possible. And if you're new to the channel, haven't seen my content before, and you'd like to see more, feel free to subscribe. Thanks for watching.